It's a really bad ripoff of the best of both those two things, or the worst of those best of. Around a month and a half ago, my cousin told me about this game called Contractors, and I put it off for so long. But then around a week and a half ago, the game went on sale for around $13. So, I bought it. And it's probably one of the best VR decisions I have made. I've played Bone Labs, I've played Half-Life Alyx, I've played tons of VR games. I've played good ones, I've played bad. But Contractors is a special case. At its base, it seems like another Call of Duty, Battlefield ripoff, similar to Pavlov. You know, it's like that. It's kind of how like Warface is. If you've ever played Warface, it's a really bad ripoff of the best of both those two things, or the worst of those two things. Warface is basically back to Contractors. So basically, Contractors at a surface is just a normal clone. But what makes Contractors so good is, similar to Pavlov, the depth of its guns, but also its mods. Unlike Pavlov, Contractors has native mods, so even if you're on Quest 2, you can use mods, which is nice. You don't have to have a computer at all. So Contractors is nicely in depth. It looks good, it runs well, but what makes Contractors is the mods. Take, for example, this Star Wars Battlefront mod. As far as I'm aware, the only game mode for the Battlefront mod is Domination, a game mode where you have to control points and defend them. But using this mod, you can change the role of your character. You can be a normal droid or a stormtrooper. But you can also play as other classes, such as an engineer, which allows you to use heavy artillery, or Jedi. As someone who grew up played Star Wars Battlefront way too much, way too much. Jesus. This mod captures what I remember almost to the T. The only thing I would say is the only thing I would say is different is driving. It's pretty nauseating in VR to begin with, but at least in Star Wars Battlefront, it's still enjoyable. It's not like super close up to your face and makes you super nauseous. It's okay. One of my favorite things about the Star Wars Battlefront mod is the way that your team works together. Everyone uses comms pretty much, which is nice, but also just the sheer amount of people that just enjoy having fun. It doesn't feel as serious as many other VR games that I've played. Hell, I've even accidentally shot one of my teammates. Which I don't think you can do team damage, but I just thought he was an enemy and I shot him in the head. And at first I thought I killed him. On to one of the next mods. Discovered by my friend who couldn't be here for the recording, is simply a pirate fighting mod. Yeah, you spawn very confused and eventually realize that your sword is on the wrong side. Usually it's on the right, like your guns, but for some reason it's on the left. But once you get into the battle, you change your opinion on how you thought this mod would be. At first you thought it would be terrible, but this mod is simply incredible. And I mean that, genuinely. It is simple and incredible. All you do is fight with a sword, or, you know, occasionally too, if you actually end up getting any kills. And also you just parry. The sound effects are nice, and it's fun. But what made this particular match so interesting? Well, for some reason the match creator put the map on the back rooms, which seems bland, until you realize that there's a giant stomping monster chasing around unknowing victims, but not me. I would never die. You can trust me, I promise I would never die to the monster. Honestly, I sunk way too much time into this one. Genuinely, it was fun. Running around, just finding other people, and then wanting to fight. Nobody took it super seriously. But the funniest part was just hearing kids screaming. You'd be fighting, and then across the map, you hear screaming, and you're wondering why. And then you realize it's because there's a giant monster chasing them around. And then it's already too late, because once you can see it, it's already close enough to kill you. I had the time of my life, running around, picking fights, totally not dying, and just listening to the kids screaming across the map because of the monster. Everyone was surprisingly courteous, allowing everyone to pick their own fights and 1v1 if they pleased. But it's time to finally move on to the final mod of the day. Ever since I got my own console, one of my all-time favorite games, aside from Borderlands,
everything is cheese. Even the enemies are cheese.
Has been Call of Duty, but not multiplayer. I suck at multiplayer. If you've ever caught me on a stream, you know I suck at shooting. My favorite game has been Zombies. I've always been a big fan of the Zombies mode. I even used to have Black Ops 1 on the Wii, which seems like one of the worst things you could probably do. But hey, it's the original VR base. Growing up, my cousin and I would 1v1 on multiplayer. And then we'd eventually fight, like in real life. Like we'd get angry at each other, which was stupid, but you're kids. But when we played zombies, we were a team. It was so fun to explore new maps because we didn't get new maps for years because we didn't have Wi-Fi or anything like that. So we had the basic like 2 or 3 maps from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1. So Black Ops 2, especially the zombies, that was my cousin and I's way of bonding. We never played any other ones together because at that point we were already old enough and finishing up high school, starting college, starting a job. That was our way of bond. Contractors captures that gameplay. Well, not exactly perfect. Like most VR shooters, the guns are more complex, which makes smoother gameplay a bit more difficult. You have to eject a mag with a certain button, then you have to pick up another mag, hope that your hand actually goes over the mag, and then pick it up, and then shove it into the gun, hopefully first try. Because if you don't, you will die. And then occasionally you forget to pull back on the gun to actually get the bullet in the chamber. So although it is a mod in a VR game that makes it a little bit more difficult to enjoy it just casually, it is genuinely beautiful. The maps for the COD zombies are very reminiscent of Black Ops 3, with all the weird meme maps and one window maps, but it is genuinely fun. Aside from all the complications of it being, a bit more complex, it is genuinely fun. So all in all, Contractors is a beautiful. It's been out 2 years, so I know this is like most people probably already know about this. Contractor has a lot going for it, and I'm sure the love and development for the game will continue for years to come, especially due to the native mod support. And I think that I will probably sink countless hours into this, totally not for any weird reasons, but genuinely, this game is great. I will probably never play it vanilla. I will probably never just play the regular shooting with regular guns mode, but it is genuinely fun. If you have never heard of this game, if you've never played it, I genuinely recommend it. I'm surprised with how much I like this. I bought it on a whim, and I thought if I wouldn't like it, I would refund. I almost did. But then I discovered that it has the native mods, which was amazing. I don't think I'm going to stop playing this game for a while. But until the next time, you'll probably catch me on a Breachers game.